Captain Ethan Reese tightened his grip on the railing of the landing platform. The pale green light of Zithera 9's twin suns reflected off the smooth metallic surface of the research vessel. He had seen hundreds of planets from orbit, but something about this world made his chest tighten with a mix of excitement and unease. "Sensors are clear, Captain," said Lieutenant Mara Chen, her voice calm but tinged with curiosity. "Atmosphere is breathable. Gravity is slightly higher than Earth, but nothing our suits can't handle." Ethan nodded. He glanced at the sprawling forest that stretched like waves toward the horizon. Strange iridescent flora glimmered under the sunlight, and he could see the faint shimmer of distant cities, tall structures that looked alive, as if the buildings themselves were breathing. "All right," Ethan said, his voice steady. "We land. Keep scanners on full alert. We don't know what's out there, but I want to make first contact, and I want it clean. No surprises." The team moved efficiently, securing equipment and donning the lightweight exosuits designed for alien environments. Ethan took the first steps onto the soft, bioluminescent soil. It was warmer than expected, and it pulsed faintly under his boots, almost like it was alive. Mara raised an eyebrow. "So the plants, they're not just glowing, they're moving in a way." "Better watch your step," Ethan said. "We don't know what's conscious here." They walked carefully, scanning everything. Strange insects like living jewels flitted between the towering plants. Occasionally, Ethan saw glimpses of creatures that were clearly intelligent, watching from the shadows. He felt a mixture of caution and awe. Humanity had never truly met another sentient species on this scale. Hours passed and the crew began mapping the area when something unusual appeared in the distance. At first, it looked like a mirage, a structure rising out of the forest, enormous and gleaming like polished crystal. The closer they got, the more defined it became. It was not just a building. It was a palace, sprawling and alive, with flowing curves and luminous surfaces that seemed to pulse with light. Ethan slowed. This is it. Whatever intelligent life is here. They live in that structure. The closer they approached, the more they felt a strange pressure in the air. Not physical, but mental, like the palace itself was aware of them. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Suddenly, the air shimmered and a figure appeared on the highest balcony. Ethan squinted against the light. The being was taller than any human, with long flowing limbs and a crown of luminescent tendrils. Its eyes glowed with soft golden light, and when it moved, the air seemed to ripple. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. The alien was unmistakably royal. There was authority in every motion, and when it spoke, the voice echoed not just in their ears, but in their minds. "Human," the figure said, and the word hung in the air like a question and a command at the same time. "Step forward," Ethan swallowed. He motioned for the crew to stay back. I will," he said aloud. He walked toward the palace gates, his boots making soft impressions in the glowing ground. As he passed beneath the arches, he felt the gaze of hundreds of eyes, some visible, some hidden. They were being studied, catalogued, measured. The pressure in the air intensified, but Ethan kept his head high. The doors opened before him without sound or hinges. A corridor of shimmering light led him to the inner sanctum. There, sitting upon a throne that seemed to float above the floor, was the being in full view. Ethan froze. The alien queen was magnificent. Her skin shifted in subtle patterns of color, like sunlight reflecting off water. Her eyes, larger than any human's, were fixed on him, curious yet calculating. Her presence was commanding yet not hostile. Then, to Ethan's astonishment, she spoke again, her voice soft, intimate, and direct. "Are you unattached human?" The words hit him like a bolt of lightning. He blinked, unsure if he had heard correctly. The queen leaned slightly forward, her tendrils swaying as though drawn by an invisible current. The air around her seemed to hum with curiosity. Lieutenant Chen whispered from behind him, "Did she ask if you're single?" Ethan felt heat rise to his face. He opened his mouth, then closed it. I'm married," he finally said, steadying his voice. "To my crew. We're bonded in service and friendship." The queen tilted her head, studying him. There was no mockery or threat, only genuine interest. "Interesting," she said. "Your species bonds differently. Tell me about these attachments." Ethan hesitated, realizing how strange it must sound to an alien. "Humans, we form close partnerships. We care for each other. We choose who we trust, who we rely on. It's not just survival, it's connection." The queen's glowing eyes seemed to soften. She leaned back slightly as if pondering something profound. Connection, choice, curiosity, humans. Your race is unusual, even in the galaxy. Ethan tried to steady his breathing. We've learned to adapt, to work together, to face challenges, and survive. That's what makes us strong. The Queen's tendrils drifted around her like liquid ribbons. She spoke again with a gentle authority. You are brave, curious, independent. I see why your kind is fascinating. Before Ethan could respond, the palace doors behind him opened, and a wave of alien courtiers entered. They were humanoid, but unlike anything he had imagined. Some with multiple limbs, some with translucent skin, all observing him with varying degrees of curiosity and caution. Ethan's crew stayed at the edge of the inner hall, silent, but ready. Mara whispered, "Captain, be careful. We don't know what they consider hostile." Ethan nodded subtly. Understood. The Queen rose from her throne. Every movement radiated power, but there was a surprising grace to it. She walked closer to Ethan, her golden eyes never leaving his. Your people, they are rare. You, human, are rarer still. To arrive here alone without fear, it is remarkable. Ethan swallowed. I'm just doing my job. I represent humanity. I don't seek trouble. The Queen's lips, or whatever passed for lips, curved slightly. Trouble, perhaps, or opportunity. You will see, human. You will see. The inner sanctum seemed to pulse, the walls shimmering in response to her words. Ethan felt a thrill mixed with apprehension. He realized he had stepped into history, and that whatever happened next could define humanity's place among the stars. Then the Queen spoke one more time. A question and an invitation rolled into one. Will you join me in the Hall of Curiosity? There you will show me what makes your kind unique. Ethan's heart raced. This was not just first contact. This was the beginning of something far larger than himself, or even his crew. He took a deep breath, glanced back at Mara and the others, and stepped forward. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one thing. Humans were about to make their mark on a galaxy that had never seen anything like them. Ethan followed the alien Queen through corridors that seemed alive. The walls shifted subtly, reflecting soft patterns of light that pulsed with each step. Every movement of the Queen was graceful, precise, and commanding. Ethan could feel the attention of the alien court on him, though none spoke aloud. It was as if the very air watched him. Finally, they arrived at a vast hall. The ceiling arched high above, far beyond what any human building could achieve. Light floated freely, no visible source, illuminating statues and murals that depicted scenes of alien life. Some were familiar, war, celebration, discovery, while others were impossible to understand, showing creatures changing shape and merging with their environment. The Queen stopped in the center and turned to Ethan. Her tendrils shimmered gently, like sunlight dancing on water. This is the Hall of Curiosity, she said. Here, all who enter reveal their essence. You, human, are unique. Show me who you are. Ethan hesitated. I'm not sure what you want me to show. You do not decide. You act. You respond, humans. Your race surprises even the most learned of my people. I wish to see this surprise for myself. He nodded slowly, understanding. This was not a test of strength, nor was it a test of weapons or technology. It was a test of humanity itself, of ingenuity, courage, and spirit. Around the hall, alien observers began to assemble. Some were large, with wings folded neatly on their backs. Others had multiple arms or elongated faces. All watched silently, curious and cautious. Ethan could feel their judgment, but he steadied himself. He was human, and humans had a way of facing the unknown. The Queen spoke again. Your kind relies on choice, independence. Tell me, what drives you? Ethan thought for a moment. We are curious. We explore, we adapt. When danger comes, we face it because we know we can find a way. We help each other, we make decisions together. That is how we survive. The Queen considered this. Curiosity? Adaptation. Cooperation. These are traits valued by your people. But why fear? Why do you not simply act without caution? Because our choices matter, Ethan replied. We are not born with the knowledge to survive every challenge. We learn, we plan, and sometimes we fail, but we try again. That is what makes us strong. The Queen's eyes seemed to glow brighter, as if impressed. You are unlike most who enter my hall. You are honest and you accept uncertainty. Humans, this is rare. Ethan took a deep breath. I didn't come here to impress anyone. I came to understand. And to make contact. That is all we want. Knowledge and connection. A ripple of movement passed through the hall. Some aliens whispered in their own language. Ethan could not understand, but he sensed approval. Others seemed skeptical, their gaze sharper. He realized immediately that not everyone in this court trusted him, or even liked him. The Queen raised a hand. There are those who doubt. They see humans as unpredictable, dangerous, but we shall see. You will undergo a ceremonial trial. Ethan froze. Trial? Do not fear, she said. This is not punishment. It is understanding. The trial will show your courage, your intelligence, and your adaptability. These qualities are admired by my people. Ethan nodded slowly. Humans face challenges all the time. This was simply another test, though far more alien than anything he had imagined. The Queen's tendrils waved lightly as she spoke. Follow me, she led him to another chamber. The walls were curved, smooth, and reflective, showing images not of the room but of distant stars and galaxies. It felt as if they had stepped into the universe itself. The trial begins with observation, she explained. You will see scenarios. You must respond. Your decisions will be noted, your courage measured, your adaptability revealed. Ethan's heart raced. He had trained for unknown scenarios before, but never in a place where the very environment seemed alive. The first simulation began. A holographic image appeared in the center of the chamber. A massive alien predator, sharp and fast, threatened a smaller, defenseless creature. The predator advanced, and the creature's survival depended on action. Ethan stepped forward. He analyzed the situation, quickly noting the predator's pattern and speed. Using his human ingenuity, he manipulated the environment, pushing glowing rocks and shifting light barriers to distract the predator. The smaller creature escaped. The Queen's eyes glowed softly. Clever, resourceful. Humans think differently than we do. You improvise, without relying solely on instinct. This is unusual. Next, a more abstract scenario appeared. An alien structure collapsing with inhabitants trapped inside. Ethan had no tools, only his own mind. He assessed the situation and coordinated the holographic inhabitants, giving them instructions on how to move safely. He solved the problem creatively, using unexpected paths and methods. Some alien observers murmured. Remarkable. The human adapts without fear. The third scenario was the hardest. A diplomatic challenge. Two alien factions, already tense, were about to clash. Ethan had to mediate using nothing but words and understanding. He carefully explained compromises, suggested solutions, and appealed to logic and morality. Slowly, the holographic factions agreed to a temporary truce. The Queen studied him silently for a long moment. You understand more than most of my people. You combine courage, reason, and empathy. Humans, your kind is strange, but you have merit. Ethan felt a surge of relief. Thank you, I'm honored. The Queen tilted her head. Honor is not given lightly. It is earned. You have shown promise, yet your kind is still young in experience. There are lessons to learn, and dangers to face. Ethan nodded. We are ready. Humanity is always ready to learn. She extended one glowing hand. Then come. You shall dine with me and my council. There you will hear more of our ways. Perhaps you will teach us as well. As Ethan walked beside the Queen, he noticed subtle changes in the alien courtiers. Some nodded slightly in respect. Others continued to watch him warily. The dynamics of the palace were complex, far more than he had imagined. In the dining hall, food appeared in forms he had never seen. Bioluminescent fruits that pulsed softly, liquids that floated above bowls, and textures that shifted as he touched them. Ethan hesitated, then tasted one. Surprisingly, it was sweet and nourishing. The Queen watched him with quiet interest. Your palate is simple yet adaptable. Humans, you accept new things and adjust. This is valuable, Ethan smiled. We do what we must to survive, and to understand the universe. That's what makes humans human. A few of the alien council members exchanged whispers, clearly impressed. Others still studied him like a puzzle they could not solve. Ethan realized this was a test not just of skill, but of character. Every action, every word, every gesture was being measured. As the meal ended, the Queen leaned forward. Tomorrow, the next stage begins. You will participate in a ceremony unlike anything humans have seen. It is not dangerous, yet it will challenge you. Are you willing? Ethan straightened. Yes, I'm ready. The Queen's eyes glowed with approval. Good, then rest. You will need strength and clarity. The Hall of Curiosity has already revealed much, but tomorrow, you will reveal more. That night, Ethan returned to his temporary quarters aboard the vessel the aliens had provided. He looked out over the bioluminescent forests, thinking of the day's events. He had survived the first contact, impressed the Queen, and shown the human spirit in its rawest form. Yet he knew this was only the beginning. Somewhere deep inside, a thrill surged. Humans were known for their adaptability, for their courage, for their ingenuity, and now a whole alien civilization was watching. Ethan realized that humanity's reputation in the galaxy was about to change forever. Sleep came fitfully, his mind racing with anticipation. Tomorrow he would face the ceremonial trial. And when he did, he would prove once again that humans could meet any challenge, even one crafted by an alien queen. The next morning, Ethan awoke to a soft golden light filtering through his quarters. The alien palace was alive even at this hour. Faint melodic sounds echoed through the halls, and the walls shimmered with patterns that seemed to respond to movement. Today was the ceremonial trial, and Ethan felt a mixture of excitement and tension. Dressed in his human uniform, he followed the Queen through corridors that seemed to breathe with light. Every step brought him closer to a stage where humans had never stood before. He noticed that the palace courtiers had already gathered, forming an intricate semicircle around the ceremonial arena. Their eyes, luminous and calculating, were fixed on him. "This ceremony is a tradition among my people," the Queen explained as they walked. "It is designed to measure courage, intelligence, adaptability, and the essence of one's spirit. It is not a test of strength alone, human. It is a test of the self." Ethan nodded. "I understand. I will do my best." The Queen's tendrils waved gently. "Good. Your people's ingenuity has reached my attention. Let it shine here." The arena was unlike anything Ethan had seen. The floor seemed to shift beneath his feet, projecting holographic landscapes that changed in real time. Mountains rose and fell, forests appeared and vanished, oceans shimmered into existence, and cities built themselves in moments. It was as if the universe itself was presenting him with challenges. The first trial began. A holographic alien vessel had crashed on a jagged cliff. Its inhabitants were trapped, with no clear way to escape. Ethan immediately assessed the scenario. Unlike the simulations in the Hall of Curiosity, this felt more real, more urgent. He noticed that the holographic inhabitants reacted dynamically to his movements. If he moved toward one, it shifted. If he acted cautiously, the environment responded accordingly. Ethan quickly realized he needed to think like both a leader and a problem solver. He used rocks and fallen trees in the holographic landscape to create paths. He coordinated the inhabitants, guiding them to safety while avoiding the simulated dangers of the collapsing cliffside. One by one, they reached solid ground. The Queen observed silently, her glowing eyes fixed on him. "Clever," she finally said, her voice soft but resonant. "You understand risk, human. You adapt and protect those who depend on you. This is unusual." Before Ethan could respond, the second trial began. The landscape shifted instantly into a dense forest filled with strange, luminescent creatures. Some were harmless. Others were predators, fast and intelligent. The objective was unclear: survive, navigate, and uncover a hidden artifact. Ethan's mind raced. The forest was disorienting, the creatures unpredictable. But he noticed patterns, the way they moved, the way light bent around obstacles, the way sound echoed differently through the alien trees. Using his knowledge of physics and observation, Ethan set small traps to distract the predators while he moved carefully toward the artifact. He climbed, leapt, and navigated with human ingenuity. When he finally grasped the shimmering artifact, the forest dissolved. The Queen's voice echoed in the arena. "You improvise, you observe, you adapt. Humans, your kind is truly remarkable in this regard." Ethan felt a small surge of pride, though he knew the final challenge was yet to come. The third trial was not physical, it was social, diplomatic, and psychological. A holographic council appeared, simulating an alien dispute. Two factions were on the verge of war over territory, resources, and ideology. Ethan's task was to mediate and find a solution that avoided conflict. He studied the factions carefully. One valued logic and order above all else. The other prized tradition and emotional resonance. Ethan realized that brute force or simple negotiation would fail. Instead, he appealed to the shared values and interests of both factions, carefully suggesting compromises and solutions that respected both reason and emotion. It was delicate, tense work. A single misstep could collapse the fragile truce. Ethan's voice remained calm and steady. "Your people share a goal beyond this conflict," he said. "You all want survival, prosperity, and peace. Let us find a path together that honors all of you." Slowly, the factions agreed. The holographic leaders bowed in unison, and the Queen's eyes glowed brighter, as if approving. "You are," she said, pausing thoughtfully, "exceptional. Not only do you survive, human, but you also inspire. You mediate. You lead. Your kind has courage in many forms." Ethan exhaled. The trials were over, but he felt no relief. He knew that some alien observers might still doubt him. After all, humans were unpredictable. That was part of their nature, part of their strength, and part of what others feared. The Queen raised a hand. "You have shown much today. Courage, intelligence, adaptability. But there is one final aspect we must explore. Your spirit. Humans are rare in that you choose your own path. You are not bound by rigid laws or customs. You act, you adapt, you choose. Show me this now." The arena dissolved into a void of light. Ethan felt weightless, as if the universe itself had folded around him. Strange symbols and colors appeared in the air, shifting and moving in ways that defied logic. The Queen's voice echoed, "Human, make a choice. Define yourself. Show what it means to be free." Ethan closed his eyes for a moment. He thought of his crew, his home, and the countless humans who had struggled, survived, and thrived in impossible circumstances. Humans were curious, brave, and adaptable. They learned, created, and endured. That was their essence. Opening his eyes, he extended his hands, letting instinct guide him. Light responded, forming patterns that reflected balance, harmony, and resilience. The Queen and her court watched in astonishment as Ethan's actions projected the human spirit, not perfect but strong, free, and creative. A hush fell over the hall. Even the skeptical courtiers seemed unable to look away. The Queen's eyes glowed with pride. "You have done well," she said. "Humans. Your kind is unpredictable, yes. But in your unpredictability lies creativity, strength, and courage. You have impressed not only me but all who observe." Ethan felt a mixture of relief and exhilaration. He had not only survived the ceremonial trial, but had demonstrated the qualities that made humans unique. Courage, intelligence, and adaptability were not enough. The Queen had wanted to see the human spirit itself, and he had shown it. Suddenly, a commotion erupted at the edge of the hall. Some alien nobles whispered urgently, and a group of guards approached a hidden section of the arena. Ethan tensed. He knew that not all members of the court welcomed humans, or outsiders in general. Before he could react, the Queen raised her hand. "Calm. They test boundaries as your people would in their own way. Observe, human, and see how your kind compares." Ethan watched as a rival faction of aliens challenged the ceremony's outcome. Their arguments were sharp, their intentions unclear. Yet Ethan realized that this was part of the trial too. Humans were often judged not just by success, but by how they handled conflict and opposition. Thinking quickly, he stepped forward and addressed the alien nobles. "I am not here to threaten you," he said. "I have shown what humans can do. But we are not perfect, and we do not claim to be. We learn, we adapt, and we cooperate when it matters. You can judge us by our actions, but also by our willingness to understand and work together." His words resonated. Some nobles bowed slightly, acknowledging his wisdom. Others continued to glare, but their tone had softened. The Queen observed quietly, clearly satisfied. Finally, the ceremonial trial concluded. The arena dissolved entirely, leaving only the Queen and Ethan in a serene chamber. She regarded him with a mixture of admiration and curiosity. "You have passed, human," she said. "Not by strength alone, not by cleverness alone, but by the essence of your being. Courage, creativity, intelligence, and above all, choice. You choose who you are, how you act, and what you value. This is rare. This is remarkable." Ethan bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I am honored. Truly, it has been a privilege to learn from you and your people." The Queen inclined her head. "The privilege is mutual. Humans have much to offer the galaxy. Today you have begun to show us why. Rest now. Tomorrow you will meet the Council formally and discuss how your people might work with mine." Ethan left the chamber with a sense of pride and awe. He had survived the ceremonial trial, impressed an entire alien civilization, and demonstrated what humans could do when faced with challenges no one else could overcome. As he walked through the palace corridors, he realized something important. Humans were not just explorers or adventurers. They were innovators, problem solvers, and diplomats in ways few species could match. And now an alien empire was beginning to see this truth firsthand. Tonight, Ethan would rest, but he knew the journey was far from over. Tomorrow, new challenges would come. But one thing was certain: humanity had made its mark on Zythera 9. The morning sun, or what passed for one in the palace, cast long shadows across the ceremonial grounds. Ethan had barely slept. His mind replayed the events of the trial over and over, analyzing what he had done right and what he could have done better. The Queen had praised him, yet he knew the palace was still full of skeptics. Before he could dwell further, the palace alarms rang out. A deep, resonant sound that vibrated through the halls, sending a warning through every living being present. Alien courtiers hurried in all directions, their voices overlapping in rapid conversation. Ethan's heart raced. Something was wrong. The Queen appeared beside him, her tendrils rippling with tension. "Human," she said, her voice calm but firm. "A rival faction from the outer provinces has attempted an incursion. They seek to disrupt the ceremony and challenge my authority. They are dangerous yet predictable if approached correctly." Ethan nodded. "What do you need me to do?" "You will observe. You will advise. You will act when necessary. Humans, your creativity may tip the balance." Ethan's eyes scanned the palace grounds. The rival faction's ships appeared in the distance, sleek and armed with energy weapons. They were moving fast, targeting key structures and threatening the Council's safety. This was no longer a simulation. This was real. Ethan quickly formulated a plan. "We need to create confusion and buy time," he said. "We can't outrun them, but we can outthink them. Use the environment. Use distractions. Use what we have around us." The Queen inclined her head. "Proceed, human." Ethan dashed to a control panel and began accessing the palace's defensive systems. They were unlike any human technology he had seen. Shields that bent light, energy conduits that flowed like rivers, and drones that hovered silently. But he adapted quickly. Humans were resourceful, and he could see patterns in the alien systems. "Activate the light barriers along the perimeter," Ethan ordered. "Use the drones to create false targets. We'll split their focus." Aliens around him worked in perfect synchronization, though some cast wary glances at him. Ethan noticed the skepticism but ignored it. Time was short. Within minutes, his strategy took shape. Drones flitted in unpredictable patterns, casting confusing shadows. Light barriers shimmered, creating false pathways and hiding key structures. Energy pulses diverted the invaders' weapons, and the alien defenders, inspired by Ethan's quick decisions, moved strategically. The rival ships fired repeatedly, but each attack was anticipated and neutralized. Ethan's heart pounded, but he stayed focused, analyzing the enemy's behavior and predicting their next moves. He realized that the invaders relied on aggression and speed, not creative thinking. This was humanity's advantage. "Human ingenuity," he muttered, smiling slightly. "Let's see how they handle this," the Queen observed silently. Her eyes glowed brighter, clearly impressed. For centuries, her people had relied on structured strategies and predictable responses. Ethan's improvisation was something entirely new. As the battle escalated, Ethan spotted the rival faction's command ship approaching the palace core. If it breached that point, the ceremony, and perhaps the entire palace, would be destroyed. He quickly devised a daring maneuver. Use the energy conduits, he instructed. Redirect the pulses to create a temporary electromagnetic shield. Draw them in, then overload it. That should disable their command ship without harming the palace. The alien engineers hesitated. It is risky, one said. Do it, Ethan said firmly. It's the best chance we have. Moments later, the shield activated, drawing the invaders into a trap. The energy pulses intensified, and the command ship was caught in a web of light and force. Sparks flew, and the vessel's systems failed one by one. With a final surge, it shut down completely, drifting harmlessly away from the palace. A cheer rose from the alien defenders. Some courtiers bowed in respect, acknowledging Ethan's brilliance. Even skeptics could not deny the human's contribution. The queen approached him, her tendrils shimmering with pride. You have done something extraordinary, human. You have saved my palace, my council, and perhaps the course of this ceremony. You acted with courage, intelligence, and creativity. Truly, your kind is remarkable. Ethan felt a flush of pride. I only did what humans do best, adapt, think quickly, and work together. You have shown more than bravery, the queen said softly. You have shown vision. Humanity has a way of seeing possibilities that others miss. This is inspiring. The rival faction had retreated, their ships vanishing beyond the atmosphere. The palace grounds were calm again, though the echoes of the battle lingered. Ethan noticed the subtle shift in the court's demeanor. Where skepticism had ruled, respect now grew. Humans were not merely unpredictable, they were capable, inventive, and resilient. The queen motioned for him to follow her to the council chamber. You will meet the council now. They wish to understand more about your people, human. Your actions have already spoken volumes, but words will add depth. Inside the council chamber, representatives of the alien empire awaited. Some were tall, thin, with skin that reflected light like water. Others had multiple limbs, each moving independently. Yet every eye, antenna, or tendril was fixed on Ethan. You have seen human ingenuity firsthand, the queen began. Now speak for yourself. Tell us who you are and why your people are as they are. Ethan took a deep breath. Humans are explorers. We adapt, we learn. We face danger and uncertainty, not because we are fearless, but because we believe we can find a way. We cooperate, we innovate, and we persevere. We make mistakes, but we try again. That is what makes us strong. The council members listened intently, some nodding, others silently judging. Yet the air was different now. There was curiosity instead of doubt, admiration instead of suspicion. One council member stepped forward, her voice melodic. You speak with confidence, human. But your success today, it was not just skill. It was courage, and a willingness to act when others hesitated. Your people. You are rare indeed, Ethan nodded. We are not perfect, but we value survival, growth, and understanding. That is why we explore, and why we seek allies instead of enemies. The queen regarded him with a mixture of warmth and pride. You have done more than survive, human. You have shown the best of your kind. And you have reminded us that strength is not always in numbers or tradition, but in creativity, courage, and moral judgment. For the first time, Ethan felt the weight of the moment. Humans had made an impression, not just as individuals, but as a species. They were capable of feats that others could not predict, and their ingenuity had earned respect on an alien world. The council murmured among themselves, clearly impressed. Even the skeptics could not deny the effectiveness of Ethan's quick thinking. After the meeting, the queen led Ethan to a balcony overlooking the palace gardens. The bioluminescent plants glowed softly, reflecting the aftermath of the incursion. You have proven something important today, she said. Humans are not only brave and adaptable, but also capable of inspiring trust and admiration in ways most species cannot. You have reminded us why your kind is worthy of respect. Ethan smiled. Thank you. I only hope that my actions today reflect all humans, not just myself. The queen's tendrils swayed gently. It does. Others will hear of this, human. Your people will be seen in a new light across the galaxy. You have opened doors that were closed to outsiders for centuries. Ethan looked out over the glowing forests and the palace beyond. He realized that this was not just a victory for him or even humanity. It was the start of a relationship between species, built on respect, understanding, and shared strength. Tomorrow, the Queen said, you will return to your vessel. But know this, humans will always have a place here if you choose to visit. You have proven that your kind is extraordinary. The galaxy is watching and we are learning from you. Ethan nodded, a deep sense of pride and purpose filling him. He had faced the unknown, adapted, and succeeded. Humanity had shown what it meant to be brave, clever, and resilient. And for the first time he realized that this was only the beginning. Humans were no longer just explorers. They were a force that could inspire, teach, and change the galaxy itself. The alien queen watched him silently as the sun, or whatever light passed for one, set across Zithera 9. In her eyes, Ethan could see admiration, curiosity, and perhaps a hint of hope. Humans had arrived and the universe would never see them the same way again. The morning air on Zithera 9 was crisp and vibrant, filled with the gentle hum of the palace and the soft glow of bioluminescent flora. Captain Ethan Reese stood on the landing platform, surveying the magnificent palace one last time. After days of trials, challenges, and unexpected conflict, he felt a mixture of exhaustion, pride, and wonder. The alien queen appeared beside him, her tendrils shimmering in the light. Today, human, your people's story will reach a wider audience, she said. The council has convened to formally recognize your accomplishments and offer an alliance. Your ingenuity, courage, and spirit have left a lasting mark. Ethan nodded, trying to keep his excitement steady. It has been an honor to work with you, Your Majesty. Humans have much to learn, but we also bring what we can offer: curiosity, adaptability, and cooperation. The Queen's eyes glowed softly, reflecting approval. Then let us proceed. Come, human, witness history. Inside the Grand Council chamber, representatives from all corners of the alien empire were gathered. The room was enormous, with ceilings stretching higher than Ethan could see. Light flowed along the walls, forming shifting patterns of stars and galaxies. Each alien present seemed to radiate authority, intelligence, and curiosity. Ethan stepped forward, feeling the weight of their gaze. He knew that these beings had seen countless species, many of whom had failed or disappointed them, and yet here he was, a single human representing an entire species, and he had impressed them all. The Queen raised her hand and the hall fell silent. Council members, I present to you Captain Ethan Reese of humanity. He has demonstrated qualities that are rare, even among the most advanced civilizations: courage, intelligence, adaptability, and the essence of his species. Today I propose a formal alliance. The council members exchanged glances, some nodding slowly, others remaining silent. Finally, one elder, a tall being with translucent skin and multiple arms, stepped forward. Human, your actions are unusual. We have observed your decisions, your creativity, and your bravery. You are unlike any we have encountered. If your species acts as you have, they will be valuable allies indeed. Ethan bowed respectfully. We seek friendship, understanding, and mutual growth. Humanity believes that by sharing knowledge and cooperating, we can face the challenges of the universe together. A murmur of approval swept through the chamber. Another council member, her voice melodic and firm, spoke. We will accept the proposal. An alliance between humans and the Zytheran Empire will be beneficial to both. Your species' ingenuity and resilience are recognized. You are welcome among us. Ethan felt a surge of pride. This was beyond anything he had imagined. Humans, a species often underestimated, had gained respect and trust on a galactic scale. The Queen smiled, her glowing eyes fixed on him. Human, you have done more than survive. You have shown the best of your kind. Today, humanity is not merely a distant curiosity. It is a recognized and valued presence in the galaxy. Ethan looked around at the council members, seeing curiosity, respect, and cautious optimism in their expressions. We will honor this trust, he said, and we will prove that humanity is worthy of it. The formalities continued, but Ethan's mind wandered to the past few days, the trial, the incursion, and the moments when humans had faced challenges with creativity and courage. He realized that humanity's strength lay not only in technology or numbers, but in the mind and spirit. Humans adapted, thought differently, and found solutions where others saw only problems. That was why they had impressed the Queen and her people. After the council session ended, The Queen led Ethan to a balcony overlooking the palace gardens. The forests glowed softly, their colors shifting with the wind. Alien creatures moved gracefully among the plants, oblivious to the humans' presence but perfectly integrated into the ecosystem. "You have changed perception here, human," she said quietly, "not through force but through action and thought. Your kind is remarkable," Ethan smiled. "We do what we can, Your Majesty. Curiosity, adaptability, and cooperation are in our nature. That is how we survive and thrive." The Queen inclined her head. "Indeed. And now humanity's story will reach others. They will hear of your courage, ingenuity, and spirit, and they will know that humans are not to be underestimated." Ethan glanced toward the horizon, imagining the distant stars where human ships might one day sail alongside Zitharan fleets. "Perhaps this is only the beginning," he said. "Perhaps," the Queen agreed. "And humans will continue to surprise us. That is why the galaxy will benefit from this alliance." Later, as Ethan returned to his vessel, the crew waited, eyes wide with anticipation. "Captain!" Mara exclaimed. "You did it. You actually did it. We're recognized, respected, and officially allied." Ethan smiled. "Yes, Mara. Humans have a way of making the impossible happen. But remember, this is just the beginning. The universe is vast and our journey has only started." The crew exchanged glances, excitement and pride evident on every face. They had followed Ethan through every challenge, witnessed human ingenuity in action, and now shared in the triumph of recognition. As the research vessel lifted off from Zithara 9, Ethan looked down at the glowing forests, the shimmering palace, and the alien queen standing on her balcony. Her gaze was steady, filled with admiration and curiosity. Humans had left their mark, not through domination but through creativity, courage, and moral strength. "Humanity," Ethan murmured, "has a place in the galaxy, and we will continue to earn it." The vessel moved into orbit, leaving Zithara 9 behind, but not the lessons or the bonds forged there. Across the stars, humans would be remembered not just as explorers, but as innovators, problem solvers, and allies capable of facing any challenge. For the first time, Ethan felt the full weight of what humanity could achieve. One human had impressed an alien civilization. One human had shown courage, intelligence, and adaptability. But together, as a species, humans could leave an even greater mark. The alien queen watched the vessel ascend, her tendrils swaying thoughtfully. "Humans," she said softly. "Perhaps they will change the galaxy after all." Ethan looked forward, toward the stars that stretched endlessly before him. He knew that humanity's story was only beginning. There would be challenges, discoveries, and moments of danger, but humans would face them with courage, ingenuity, and the indomitable spirit that had brought them this far.